О, сейчас уронится, ну.
After watching the Leonardo DiCaprio movie The Revenant, it got us thinking about what a bear encounter might actually look like, and here are 30 clips that show us bears across the spectrum. Prepare to have your jaws clawed away. A tourist boat came a little close for everyone's comfort when the bear that they were passing by started making a run towards them. That resulted in screams that will haunt the boat operator and the bear for days to come. These guys stumbled upon a bear that seemed to have stopped right after seeing them, as if somebody had cast a freezing spell on it. These guys take the opportunity and begin taking in the sight themselves very calmly.
Мишка, иди сюда.
Later, it is seen that this bear came with 2 babies, and it was actually a mother bear looking for food for her cubs.
Сел. А вон еще малыш вышел. Вот еще малыш вышел.
Being the kind men that they are, they start feeding the small family, and the bears could not be happier that day.
На, держи, мамка, посылаю тебе. Кушай сырок. Молодец, все, взяла сыр, пошла.
The little guy wants more and comes over to the window on the passenger side and starts trying to claw it open.
Ты куда лезешь, Ты что, ты шоколаду мало отвелся, что ли?
People in Russia are brave, as this video will show us when a bear stumbles upon the residents of this town. The bear walks up to a car and people start screaming at it in fright, but that does nothing but confuse the animal. What happens next is really amazing. The animal walks up to a guy sitting on the bench who does the right thing by not moving a muscle. The bear gets right up to him and sniffs him, only to get scared and run away. That left the bear in shock as to what had just happened and why it could not notice the person sitting there before. One good reason why, even when bears are being friendly, especially the big ones, you must always keep your windows up on your vehicle, as these animals are not just unpredictable, but also don't know their own strength. This one might look gullible, but trust me, this is that if looks could kill sort of scenario, and this guy is feeding the bear, but with the window almost the whole way up, and rightfully so. You can clearly see just how massive and sharp those claws really are.
Дай мне сумку, в сумке лежит еще одна.
Food is the biggest driver for these guys, and here we can see one poor fella who has found his way into the concrete jungle of the human world as it runs around and towards people in a panic.
Прям вообще медведь. Ёпта мать, точно. Блядь, Ира, не останавливайся, нахуй. Ира, блядь! Да я боюсь, чтобы он не...
Here it is chasing down a man who is absolutely booking it at full speed, but the bear is taking things casually and is probably following him out of confusion only. The weirdest part happens when a man keeps his call going and ignores the bear until it comes right up to him and tries to chomp down on his leg. This man films as his little trap catches something that is almost twice his size and extremely angry. As soon as the trapped bear sees the man, it starts growling and getting out of the cage like it wants to eat him alive. And that's probably true. You can see just how vicious these guys can be as this bear tries to bite the cage open and pushes everything to one side while blowing out air and roaring. Just seeing that unfold on the screen gives us the shivers. Another place where you would probably find a bear in a closed environment other than a zoo is a circus. And these guys are worth every penny of your money if you watch them. This cute guy is showing everyone how good he is with the rings. As soon as he is rewarded for his amazing performance, the treat triggers something and the bear breaks character and swipes the hand of his trainer, leaving him and everyone else in disbelief. I guess it is all part of the performance when the risk is taken into account. This little guy has a standoff with a dog who is doing a good job at keeping the bear at bay. But that bear is not someone who is easily intimidated, as it shows just how brave it is to stand up to the dog. The owner of the dog just films it, as they probably have trust and belief in their dog to fend it away. In the second encounter, the dog's tail almost falls prey to the little cub, whose claws are surprisingly larger than the dog's. The situation quickly escalates as the mother bear, along with the other cub, joins the scene, prompting the need for the dog to be swiftly restrained to avoid further confrontation. A man wielding a double-barreled shotgun gets an up-close and personal encounter with a bear that comes charging right in to grab the guy, as it seemed. He remains calm and keeps his gun pointed at the animal, making him ready for the worst. The second time gets even riskier, as the bear comes even closer as the two take a really good look at each other while the animal makes a charge. You can tell from the breathing of this man that this is a very nerve-wracking experience. The animal finally makes a run for it, and it is almost as if it knew what this guy was holding in his hands and aimed towards it. The guy showed the next level of resilience and calm by not shooting the poor animal.
Петрович, медведь с 3 пистунами, стрелять не стал, отхожу.
In an amazing scenario, a Russian man in camo wrestles a bear that has his arm in its mouth and is trying to bring him down. All the while, the man, who is putting in almost no effort, makes a video of what is happening to him. Things begin to get hotter as the bear and the man start putting in a little bit more effort just to take each other down, with neither side showing any signs of yielding. It goes to show just how strong these creatures are, and even the bears. The wrestling match comes to an end as the man astonishingly manages to pin the bear on its back, a feat that seems almost impossible. But then again, who would doubt it? After all, this man is Russian. Everyone has encountered that bothersome neighbor who was always prying into our affairs and those of others. This bear embodies that character. He frequently thrusts his head through the window, grabbing a snack and keenly surveying the activities within this household. After having won, this guy just wants more and more as he helps himself grab another one out of the hands of the guy feeding the animal. Not to mention how enjoyable this is for everyone there, especially the guy with the food.
Молодец, косолапый. Вот так. Вот, смотри, когтями как раз управляет. Это вот этот бобец сегодня был?
This guy just can't get enough of these buns as he keeps stuffing his mouth with them, and these guys just keep on giving him those. The bear seems to have developed a liking for these delicacies of the human world. Looks like he's found all his hibernation storage all in one place today.
Потихоньку. То лапы свои не усолит.
It looks like this guy has made new friends who are going to make sure that hibernation goes well for him as they give him all the food he needs to eat this month for the coming winter. Talk about getting addicted to honey buns.
Потихонечку. Ты только покажи, куда нажимать.
This writer found out why you should not always think that these trails, that you probably know like the back of your hand, can turn dangerous at any time. A mother bear and her cubs stroll onto the path, and that gets the writer thinking. The mother bear seems to be acting erratic because of her protective nature when it comes to her kids, and the biker could be in a lot of trouble. The mother does not know if she should run away with her kids or run towards the biker. The little guy who climbed a tree begins to come back down after seeing that the coast is clear and runs back to his mother. A scary encounter like this is why you should at least carry bear spray. What would you have done in a situation like this? This jogger was having a nice day on the trail as he ran through the fresh air of the forest, taking in the sights and meeting many people along his path. With so many people around, who would think it would get bad after this? His day turns sour when suddenly a big brown grizzly bear comes out of nowhere as he crosses the animal right in front of it. The urgency in his movements is evident as he swiftly increases his pace. And who wouldn't after seeing a sight like this? These people stumbled upon a monstrous grizzly bear out in the snow as the animal runs from the loud noise of the snowmobiles and is almost chased by them. Imagine seeing this guy out in the snow, and it wouldn't be hard to spot either. When the camera snowmobile gets right behind the bear, the animal stands on its hind legs and gives the rider a nice swipe. Luckily for him, the paw brushes by his side and misses the rider by inches. The bear gets some distance between him and the riders and can finally stop worrying about them as the riders part ways and regroup a bit far from where they saw the bear. Here is a bear's best friend, who took the time out to stop his truck and feed the little bears outside the door. The bears seem to be happy, and so does the guy feeding them. The animals look up to him, and he keeps on feeding them. Now that the mother bear is here, he pulls his window up a little, because that bear is a big one, and he does not want to become bear food himself. These cyclists took a step back and decided to rest for a while alongside this tree and collect themselves. Little did they know that a bear would be visiting them in their little stop. Surprisingly, nobody actually gets worried.
Spray low.
In this beautiful scenic valley, these tourists get to witness something even better as they trek along this path. A bear is seen chasing after another animal as everyone pauses to see the chase unfold in front of them. The mother bear leads her cubs to a bus filled with people who enthusiastically start to feed the animals. While they remain cautious of each other, it's apparent that the bear also seems to be enjoying the free buffet.
Да, они уже привыкли.
Все, там уже кормят.
Уже поздно.
Медведь!
The bear stands right up with the truck and asks for more food in a very playful manner by using its paws to gesture, "I want more food." Seeing this, the man leans out the window and daringly offers the animal a high five, a move fraught with risk.
Фоткай, вот она. А, ты снимаешь?
After having had something to eat, the bear gets right back on the bus again to ask for more delicious human food, and these people are providing it to them.
Смотри, нихуя.
На, держи.
It seems to be a traditional practice where boys have to fight bears in Russia to be accepted into the general community. These guys take on a single bear and seem to be struggling to get the animal down on the ground. The bear stands up, latches itself onto one of these guys, and hugs him. Now that is what you call a bear hug. Mind you, this guy is not serious and is hardly even fighting with these guys. Imagine what it could do if it got angry. In a sudden turn of events, the bear gains the upper hand, bringing one of the men to the ground and mounting him while his companion struggles to intervene. This makes anyone want to own a bear, but you never know how dangerous they might get, or when. Now here is a tricky situation this guy has gotten himself into. A bear finds him and runs towards the guy as he climbs on top of his truck for shelter. Luckily, it wasn't a tree. Otherwise, this would have been a whole different story. A fishing trip takes a bad turn when these fishermen are approached by a bear who is probably hungry and desperate enough to see if these guys caught something for it. Talk about natural communism, am I right?
What do you think? Yeah, we'll just kind of give them some space with all of us here. Can't do much.
They try to drive the animal away and walk themselves a bit further to get some distance between each other, because a hungry bear may charge at any given moment, and these guys probably smell of fish. But all that was in vain, as the bear still manages to get to their fishing spot. Now all they can do is wait and watch the animal's actions, hoping and praying it doesn't mistake them for fish. Looks like these guys are going to have to relocate or postpone their plans to eat fish today because this guy is too adamant about stealing their catches.
He wanted that fish. He grabbed the big fish? He did. Yeah, he grabbed the one and took off. Yep.
In this scene, a different group of individuals near the creek unexpectedly encounters a hazardous visitor. A bold bear approaches them, closely inspecting their activities. This proximity leads to an extremely tense situation as the bear gets up close and personal with the group. It smells the air, tries to investigate what is happening, and mocks the guys with a charge. Thankfully, all it took was a little yelling to intimidate this bear, and that made it take a few leaps back. Although it seems to be working, the bear still tries to make another approach towards them, as it really wants to get to know these guys. Again, with a bit of yelling and stomping, the bear finally backs up and leaves them alone.
Get on out of here.
A camper receives an unnervingly close visit when a bear boldly approaches, lunging near the fire in front of him. The bear first enjoys the heat of the fire before sniffing around, intrigued by the camper's presence. It then surprisingly nibbles on the camper's leg as if trying to identify him. Startled as any person would be, the camper swiftly gets up and begins to retreat from the area. This huge man and his dinner plate-sized dog confront a black bear that managed to get into his backyard. They discover the bear perched atop their fence, and together they exert every effort to frighten it away. Finally, it works, and the bear climbs back down. In a startling turn of events, a camper experienced a rude awakening when he was jolted out of his sleep by a growling sound. Curious, he unzipped his tent to investigate, only to be met with immediate regret as he came face to face with a large bear standing right before him. The bear, intrigued by the tent, begins to inspect it closely, stepping on it and probing it with its jaws. In response, the camper started yelling, hoping to scare the animal away. The whole scene unfolded like something straight out of a horror movie. After a while, the guy builds up some courage as he gets out and checks the area. That little plan actually worked out for him, as there is no bear in sight, thankfully, for now. Here we can see another backyard being terrorized as a mother bear and her cubs stroll into it on top of the wall. The dogs instantly go into action, and so do the motherly instincts of the bear as she swipes at the dogs as they bark. The courageous owner took action herself to rescue the puppies when the bear almost snatched one of them away. This act of bravery is truly commendable, and the dogs are undoubtedly grateful to have such a fearless, protective owner. In this clip, people film a grizzly bear making its way down to a bunch of hikers who probably don't know what is coming towards them. The animal actually sprints as if it is chasing down prey. The group finally spotted the bear after those holding cameras raised an alarm, shouting loudly to alert everyone. This prompted them to flee, except for one individual who bravely stayed behind to confront and intimidate the bear. Thankfully, it worked, and the bear changed course. This man found a massive grizzly eating away at a trash site, anything it could get its jaws on. The bear calmly minds its own business and ignores the guy trying to talk to it.
Миш, ты кушать будешь, долбояшек. У нас домашний зверь.
It appears to have discovered something delicious to feast on as it keeps its head submerged in the barrel filled with who knows what and seldom raises it to glance around or even to breathe. It seems everyone has their own favorites.
Сыра. Смотри, какой медведь. Большой, да?
Everyone tells you what kind of bear is the most dangerous, but you know better if you should understand that any mother bear with her cubs nearby is the most dangerous of all of them. This guy saw them at a distance, and he kept the distance as well before rightfully making a run for it.
Oh, no, he's tiny. The other ones.
This married couple, along with their little kid, were enjoying a nice day out hiking when all of a sudden they were being followed by a bear that was slowly creeping up on them. The guy starts shouting at it in order to intimidate the animal, but so far it does not seem to be working.
He's following you, babe. Hey, bear! He's following us. Hey! Hey!
They walk up a little bit, and the mother tells her kid not to make a run for it. And she is right, as bears will usually ignore you more if you stay calm and don't make much movement. As they turn around, the animal is still right behind them.
Don't run. Do not run.
Hey! Can we play dead now? Can we play dead?
Griffin, walk fast.
I mean, hiking with your little ones in places where you know bears hang around? Kinda risky, but oh well.